Hello, BookTube. I have a tag for you. I haven't done a tag in a long time. I used to be the king of tags. But we do so much other stuff on this channel that sometimes I just forget how much fun tags are. But I was tagged in an original that was created by Ben Sanders. Uh, and it's a really good one. It's one that he lists a whole bunch of people that he tags, but he also makes a point on social media and in his video of saying that he tags everyone, and so do I. Anyone who has a BookTube channel or an AuthorTube channel should do this video. As navel gazing as it is, sometimes that's useful and always interesting for busybodies like me, and maybe for you. This is all about your own channel. This is a channel history tag. And it's a chance for you to reflect on your experience on BookTube, whether you've made 10 videos or 4,000 videos. Question number one is, tell us about your very first video and where you were in your life when you filmed it. My very first video was made by other people. It wasn't made by me because I didn't yet know how to do any of the technology. It was made by Chris and Giselle, who were visiting and who had been saying for a while, I'd appeared in some of their videos. They're a booktubing couple. They're now Chris and Giselle Rhodes. They do the Rhodes vlog. And I'd appeared in a couple of their videos, and they'd been saying for a while, you should make a BookTube channel. You're a natural for this. And of course, the tried and true thing to do if you're going to make a BookTube channel is to make the BookTube newbie tag. So they came over. Where I was in my life, literally, I was in the little book room. I think the question means philosophically, personally, personality-wise. And my life changes at a much slower rate than all of you young people, so I was pretty much in the same place as I am now. I was then, as I am now, a professional book critic, and I guess the major personal difference is that then I had different dogs. I had an old basset hound and an old pointer, whereas now I have a young miniature schnauzer. And we filmed that video. We did the BookTube newbie tag, and on their phone. I didn't have any idea how to use the technology. But apparently it is not the first video on my channel. Apparently a test video of me doing my best 95-year-old, how does this work, for a few seconds. Apparently that was uploaded, and I've never bothered to go back and try and, take it down or anything. So I think it's the first video on my channel. Question number two is, tell us about your most viewed video and what went into creating it. My most viewed video was a feature that I used to do on this channel called Last Week in BookTube, where I talk about events, videos, that sort of thing in the bookish world. And what went into making it was very easy. I sat back on the pillows on my bed, turned on my camera, and made a video. But the video itself, some of you will know this story if you've been with this channel for a long time. In the comments, not in the video, but in the comments of that video, I made a comment that was, in retrospect, silly. I certainly wasn't watching my words. I certainly at the time, had no personal awareness of the gotcha culture of the internet and how people can pounce and what can happen from that, the firestorm that can happen from that. The larger point, the one that I was kind of sort of making in the video itself, is one that I would have thought was not arguable. Every person, every one of you knows an example of what I was talking about, which is that some people pretend to love books more than they do. Or there are such things as fake or phony readers, people who put on airs but don't actually sit down and read, or do very little of it and like somehow the posture, the image of doing that. I don't think that's anything controversial. I think we've all met people like that. And in the comments field of that video, I got more specific than I should have. It doesn't matter at all that what I had in mind was different from the way it was read. I should have known better than to write anything like that at all, especially since the general observation that some people can be fake readers is, I think, incontestably true. But getting any more specific than that is a little bit mean-spirited. I don't think I would do that now in such a way that I did it then, but one way or another, I did it then. And a booktuber, acting out of petty personal malice, took that comment and fed it to another booktuber, someone with a big audience, who then slathered it all over social media under the rubric of everyday sexism, y'all. I have since learned, in the 3 years since then, I have learned that the use of y'all in a social media post of any kind, Y''ALL, is a 100% sure, ironclad guarantee that you are dealing with a fascist. They only use that, and they always do. And that, of course, because this person had a huge following, that tweet went viral, and what followed was me being hashtagged for the course of an entire weekend. I remember when it happened. I was out and about. I was doing errands. I had no idea. The most I expected was that one or two of the new audience that I had just acquired would leave a repost, would leave a comment to the comment and say that was a little boneheaded. And by that afternoon, I would have agreed. And we would have just hashed things out or laughed at each other and moved on the way we've done on this channel countless times since then. But I started getting emails from Chris, and I started getting notices from other people saying, okay, this is... Before I could get back to YouTube and log on, I was getting notices from people saying, okay, this is really bad, but don't go overboard. And then I got back and saw the full extent of this thing, and it was a firestorm. It was huge, and the booktuber in question kept it going, kept saying, okay, who's going to respond, guys? Come on, don't let this die. And as a result, not only was I hashtagged, but there were a large number of vicious response videos. Vicious and, in every single case, appallingly stupid. And the thing that made that extra bad, the thing that actually had me thinking, okay, well, this whole thing isn't for me, is that 3 of those videos were made consciously. They took time, they took editing. The person doing them had to think about it for a long time. Were made by 3 people that I had been in private contact with. And that I thought I had been on friendly terms with. 3 of those videos were made by people who just wanted to score points with the bigger booktuber who had started the hashtag. And that made it feel personal. It was hard to look at that and think that this was just the caterwauling of social media. That felt personal. And unlike a lot of you, I watch a lot of booktube newbie tags, and of course the answer to the question, why did you start your channel, is almost always the same. It's almost always people saying, well, I don't really have anybody to talk about books with in my life. And this seems like a place to go to do that. And unlike the rest of, or all the people who leave that answer, it's not true for me. I have lots of people to talk about books with. I don't. And that afternoon, in the full height of bitterness, I was thinking, well, enough of this. I don't need this at all. This was meant to be fun. And if this is what it's like, then it isn't going to be fun. And a number of people swept in and reached out to me in various means and in various tenors. Some to say, don't judge all of BookTube by this. We very much want you to stay. And others to say, are you okay? Are you handling this okay? And these were total strangers, people I'd never met, never had any contact with before. So even at the worst of that hashtag weekend, there was a hint of a silver lining that would to come. But there was more about the silver lining in here. So that was my most watched video. Most of my videos are a few hundred views, I think. Probably because most of my videos are like vlogs. They're the mail hauls don't have any long-term interest. I'm perfectly willing to admit that. I do it mainly just to chat with you. So the other videos, responses, discussion videos, that sort of thing, my starter kits, overviews, that sort of thing, those things tend to accumulate sometimes 1.2, 1.6 thousand views, something like that. But the video the last week in BookTube video in question has, I don't even know, 16, 15,000 views. The wrong way to get large views on a video. But let's see here. Question number 3. Tell us about a video that you were most excited about when you finished it. For me, I'm always excited about collaborations. I love that. In the years that I've been doing this, since 2016, a number of booktubers have come to visit me here at Hyde Cottage, which is including the maker of this tag. And that has been a tremendous, tremendous pleasure. And some of those people have been willing to make videos with me. But I think probably number 1 for most excited would be a video that wasn't for me. A mother emailed me, I think about a year and a half ago, and said, would you make a video for my son? He loves your channel and he loves space travel. Or I don't know if she specified, or maybe that was just the 8-year-old in me, but one way or another, I made a video for him. It's the only video that I've ever made. I posted it, of course, publicly, but it was the only video I've ever made specifically for one person. And because it was a kid, I volunteer time specifically to talk to kids, and it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. I love it. And I guess that's probably the one I'm most excited about. I have no idea how to find it. I have no idea how to find it in my back catalog. I don't remember what I called it. If I can find it, I will certainly post a link to it, or maybe one of you knows what I'm talking about. A lot of times you can find my videos faster than I can. I really need, if I'm still doing this and around in 2020, I really need to start working on playlists. I really need to start curating my back catalog, because right now it's utterly ungovernable for me and anybody else. But anyway, question number 4. Tell us about a point in your booktubing or author-tubing career. Ben is a big champion of author-tube. It's absolutely wonderful to see. That was particularly challenging, either creatively or personally. Well, that being hashtag is about as challenging as it gets. And mine was a minor example. I know some YouTubers who've been hashtagged much worse and much longer. My hashtag, the fake reader girl hashtag, did damage. There is long-term damage. There are a whole bunch of bigger booktubers that I feel certain would watch my channel, would comment or whatnot. But I am, as far as they're concerned, they got that one touch of pitch and just walked away. There are lots of people, I'm sure, in the broader booktube community who just think, oh, Steve Donoghue, oh, that misogynist, oh, that sexist. And just leave it at that. And they don't do it to my face. They do it anonymously. They do it as chatter and gossip. And there's no opportunity for me to point out to them that all of the defenders, all those people I said that came forward to see how I was doing, to defend what I was doing, to make sure that I knew that they were on my side, were all women. The best friends I've made from this channel have been women. The foremost commenters on this channel have always been women. And I don't think that those women, several of whom have booktube channels, would pal around with someone if they thought he was sexist. And I don't think you can see it either in the content. In that comment, maybe, but in the videos that I've made, I don't think you can see it. I don't think it's there. So that was a little bit. That would probably count as a moment that was personally challenging. I don't do anything that's creatively challenging, because I don't have any frills on this channel. And even the personally challenging part, even then, there were counterbalances. I had all those wonderful gestures from people asking me if I was okay, and telling me, we're on your side, and that sort of thing. There shouldn't have been a side. There isn't a side. But there are booktubers to this day, with 10,000, 11,000, 15,000 subscribers, who will. They Voldemort me. They'll do a response to a video of mine, a specific video of mine, or they'll do a tag that I created, or that I responded to, or that I changed, and they'll mention everything about it except where it comes from. They won't mention my name. But even then, even that same year that I was hashtagged, I also trended on Reddit positively. One of my reviews, one of my book reviews, for some unknown reason, trended on Reddit. So in that 1 year, I experienced both those things, and I don't know that I recommend either one of them. Let's see here. Question number 5. Tell us about a moment in your booktubing or author-tubing career that was a high point for you, or something you're particularly proud of. I think for me, there are many such moments. What people talk about in their booktube newbie tag, they always complain about it now. They're self-conscious about it. They mention the community of booktube, the community aspect, and that appealed to me, of course. And it was the one thing that I thought was the biggest lie during that horrible weekend. I thought, okay, this is no community. I can do better than this with rank strangers, until I saw the real face of that community. And that has taken many forms over the years, and they're all high points. People who respond to a video of mine and a video of theirs and get my sense of humor, understand that I love ribbing, understand that I like a good challenge, understand all that sort of stuff, and just keep the ball up in the air. I've just loved that. That is so incredible. And that isn't anything you can get anywhere else. I have other people. I have people in my real life I can talk with about books, absolutely, especially new releases and even forthcoming releases, because a lot of people I know are book critics. But I didn't have anything like this weird little corner of booktube that we have. It's incredible. I didn't know that it existed. And then when it turned, I thought I could walk away from it. I wouldn't want to do without it now. And so I don't have any one particular moment. They're all just mixed in. I get a booktube high point pretty much every week in some form or another. Plus, a lot of you let me send you books, and I really like sending books to people. Question number 6 is, tell us about an aspect of being a content creator that you had to try really hard to get good at, or are still struggling with. How much time do you have? I can put the camera on, and then I can hit record. And then I lose track of time. I lose track of the artificiality of this. It disappears completely. Yes, I am talking to a camera in a room with a dog looking at me because she has no idea what I'm doing. But I forget about that completely. I'm just talking to you. And then eventually I get to the end of my blather of whatever I want to say, and I remember to turn off the camera. That's all that I do. The rest of it, I don't put tags on my videos. I'm really bad at referencing. I'm bad at putting information in the doobly-doo. I'm bad at social media. I never flog my own videos. I should do that. I don't think that's not rank egotism. I should do that. I should go on. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I could link to videos and say, here, I did this. I don't do that. I don't, all the rest of it. Challenge is a kind word. I don't do that sort of stuff, and I really should. If I'm not going to bother with ring lights or fairy lights or background music or a professional editing software, the least I could do is that, and I haven't. But I always mean to do better. I always do. I just started putting a block of information in every video. That's a major accomplishment for me. I'll try to get better in the new year. Question number 7 is, tell us a story that sticks out in your mind that happened as a result of you being part of BookTube or AuthorTube. And there are a lot of stories. I appeared in Matt, Paperback Junkie, has a fanzine. And he ran a serialized fiction. In fact, it's not done. A serialized fiction called The Red Bishop. That was the first time I'd appeared in serialized fiction form in 40 years or more. And that was a blast. Also, in addition to booktubers visiting me, I have also visited booktubers, including regularly, to the little old farmhouse up in tiny town Little Vermont on a dirt road underneath a brooding black wooded mountain. And that's been amazing. Absolutely. I might tell stories, just to crack people up about how I showed up at the door with Frida under my arm, and Mark Richardson's face fell, and he sort of stage whispered to his wife, "I thought it was just Frida." But it's still an enormous amount of fun to be welcomed up there in that little house. That is great fun, and that's just one of the things. We are a welcoming group of people here. I'm sure you've experienced it yourself. You make friends. People reach out. They do things for each other, send things to each other, think about each other. Absolutely wonderful. And I got to admit, it's gotten much worse, or not much worse, much better now that I leave my contact information in every video. I love being contacted by people. That is just great. And then question number 8. All right, you just spent however long talking about yourself. You're awesome. We know. It's why we watch your content. Tell us about someone else in the BookTube community that you think deserves more attention than they get at the moment. And that's a lot of people. I am always looking at channels and enjoying the hell out of them, and then looking at their subscriber count and their view counts and being mystified. Why aren't more people watching these channels? There are dozens and dozens of channels that's true about. I could go on about the thing with a video with a question like this is that you never have the names on the tip of your fingers. But I don't understand the good content. I guess it's just random chance, right? There's so much out there that the algorithm is only going to show you some things, and smaller channels. And Rachel Morrow has had a BookTube channel a lot longer than I have. It's a fantastic channel. Personal, chatty, conversational. And yet her subscriber numbers have not dramatically grown. Whereas, for instance, Sarah at Steeped in Books, also the exact same thing, looks straight at the camera, talking right to you, giving you life updates and bookish stuff. Her subscriber count did jump up. And I don't know what explains one way or the other why that happens. I really don't. I've been thinking about that a lot since I've been on BookTube. And I don't get it. I don't get it. We've got newcomers like Jason at Byways and Bookland, or Kathy Grimm. We have a channel like Todd the Librarian. I don't understand why. I don't understand subscriber counts. I just don't understand it. Ben Sanders himself. You watch his videos, just the video, without any of the lower down information. You watch his videos, and you would assume, okay, well, from the delivery and the professionalism, I would assume this guy has 50,000 subscribers. He doesn't. I don't get that. But I will leave a link to a bunch of people down below so that you can go and check out their channels if you don't know about them. But that was fun. That is the channel history tag, and you ought to do it. You all ought to consider yourself tagged. I'm just spreading the word on this thing because looking back on this is fun and instructive, especially to those of you who are new. So I'm gonna wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.